When telling an individual's story, it's important to know and understand why your character makes the choices they make. This allows you to understand their psychology and help keep you on track when writing for them. Today, we're going to discuss Tommy Shelby and highlight some of the reasons or backstories revealed throughout the show that explains why he's in the state of mind he's in when we meet him in the pilot. We are Rose Noir Media, a production company that specializes in film, photography, and digital marketing. As a collective, we have won awards in various phases of production, from screenwriting to cinematography to production design. We are essentially just a bunch of filmmaking students that came together to form a production company. Tommy Shelby is quite possibly my favorite TV character of all time. He's incredibly well written. Because of that, his psychology has been broken down plenty of times. I've seen lots of videos explaining where his state of mind is, but not why. That is where his backstory comes in. His backstory is the bread and butter of why he turned out the way he did psychologically. Looking at his story at face value, you would think it was just the military that caused Tommy to go down the route he went, when in fact, it was just the military that pushed his mental state over the edge. Here are a few brief examples of Tommy's backstory that can explain why. Poverty.
Remember the January, Arthur? The family boat. Our whole family living on something this size of 10 of these fucking barrels. You remember that night? The tiles crossed. 16 of us sleeping on the boat. The coppers come. We all swim like rats. Except for Arthur. Arthur holds them off with a boat hook, all on his own. And I remember I climbed back up on the lock and I looked back and I saw you waving that fucking boat hook in the coppers' faces. On your own.
People who've never experienced poverty aren't aware of the toll and the psychological effect it can have on the psyche. It puts you in a survival mindset where anything goes. You'll be willing to do anything to change your circumstances. We see this time and time again in the extreme actions Tommy is willing to take to get on top. Whether it's fixing races as a part of a grand scheme to take out Billy Kimber, or putting the safety of himself and his family at risk to make himself feel alive. This is one of the main reasons Tommy wants power and status. Those two things bring money and puts him and his family in a position to never have to struggle again. Reason number 2 is Grandpa.
What would our granddad say, eh? He'd be turning in his grave. Honest bloody money. Hey, in this house. Here.
You always used to do voices when we were kids.
I think this is probably one of the most overlooked things when we're talking about the psychology of Tommy Shelby, because most people don't turn to a life of crime when they no longer have faith in the system. They either don't care or become vicious in their chosen industry. There are plenty of things Tommy could have done, exiting the military, especially being a war hero, but his grandpa's ideology is one of the main reasons why Tommy can easily turn to a life of crime, and why his family doesn't fight against it when he does. The seed was already planted in all of them that this was an okay and expected course of action for the family, as it was the only way to truly get ahead for them. Reason number 3, mom's suicide.
Tell me how my mother went, Charlie.
You know. She drowned.
I know it wasn't by accident. Tell me the truth.
I'm going to keep this one brief and not speak on it as much because I genuinely don't know what it's like. But for the sake of Tommy, I can just only imagine how much harder it hit because it was his mom, and the thoughts that probably went through his mind, not understanding why.
Did she say why?
Nothing that made sense.
Tell me the things that didn't make sense.
She said it were the gypsies made the nails for Jesus' cross, and that's why we're cursed and restless.
Yeah, go on.
You have to move around, and the guilt catches up with you.
His family also has a history of mental health problems being passed down through the lineage, which is talked about on multiple occasions, and it clearly affected Tommy with where we see him try to take his own life. This is where I'm going to give a bit of a disclaimer. When applying this in your own writing, make sure you do your research and treat this delicately if it's something that you've never experienced personally. Keep it honest and think really hard about how it will affect your character and your audience. Please be responsible when dabbling in heavy topics, especially with this particular topic being on the rise. This leads me to my fourth and final reason: the father's absence.
How are you, son?
Get out.
Come on, son. I'm a changed man.
This family needed you 10 years ago. When you walked out on us. Not now. Get out of this house.
Tommy, it's
You
different.
shut up.
Tommy's father was in and out of their life until he decided to leave for good. The absence of a parent is hard enough, but when a parent chooses not to be in their child's life, it can be really hard. I'm sure they wanted and needed their father even more after their mom's death. There's also that lack of parental guidance because they no longer had either parent, and that left them lost when trying to navigate life. It left a mark on the family, and they each displayed it in different ways, with Tommy being the protector of a family and immediately shutting it down when his father tries to enter their life, while Arthur longs for his father's love and is willing to give him another chance.
So his name dies. It's been in the family for a long time, but now it's gone. Right, that's done. Fuck it.
All of these examples come together to play a part in why Tommy is the way he is and why he's able to accept his lifestyle while others eventually have a problem with it. Tommy went from one extreme survival mode in poverty to the next while serving in World War I. He was never able to come out of that way of living because it was so familiar to him. He didn't want to leave the high-stakes lifestyle because to him, it made him who he was and he didn't know how to exist in peace. People are a combination of their experiences and how they deal with those experiences. So someone with Tommy's exact same life can have a completely different outcome because of who they are as a person. So creating a backstory can also help decide how your character will react to the different events that has taken place in their life and ultimately help you decide who your character is in the present and how it will shape their future as we follow along in the story. Thank you all for watching. I hope this was easy to follow. This is not the end-all be-all. Everyone has their own writing style and process, and I encourage you to take what I said here today and make it your own. Make it fit your process so that it's beneficial to you. If it isn't, that's okay as well. There are many different ways to reach the same outcome. You don't have to follow the traditional ways regardless of what is taught. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We will be posting videos every to every other week. We're also hosting a community film challenge where the winner will have their film made by our team. If interested, visit our website below and click our CFC tab for more information. It's free to enter, so please consider. If you have any questions, please message us on the website or reach out via Discord. We want to create a community of indie filmmakers that can be there and support and possibly collab with each other. So please join, and also follow us on all of our social media platforms. Everything will be linked below. See you next time.